We got a special one here for you guys today.
We are here with our dear friend Julia, and we're going to teach kids how to foil, so tune in. We got a really special one today. Thank you guys for being a part of this journey that Gwen and I have done. And today's a really special one. We're here with Julia and her family. We're actually out on their boat. And Julia is this amazing 11-year-old, and we'll get into more about how amazing she is. But she has launched a YouTube channel called Julia Uncharted, and she wants to help kids foil. And she's edited and literally put together her first video to get kids, to get children, to get anybody inspired into foiling. And so we're gonna tune in. Julia, what do you want to say about your video that we're about to play for them?
Just enjoy it, and foiling is super fun. It can be frustrating at some points, but enjoy the process and it is all worth it at the end.
And there you have it. Let's watch the video and enjoy.
Hi, my name is Julia. I'm 11 years old, and in this video we're going to be talking about how to get started with wing coiling for kids, step 1. We're going to talk a little bit about the gear, what you need, and conditions and safety. If you have access to a boat, step 1 is tow foiling is amazing for learning. You will need a rope. It doesn't even need to have a handle, like a tow rope for tubing or anything like that. We've seen people who just hold on to a knot at the end of the rope. You'll need a boat. We use an 11-foot boat with a 15 horsepower. You don't need to go fast, so a 10 would be just fine, I'm sure. And you also need to make sure that you have someone to drive you, so a parent or a cousin, someone who has their boating license can drive you around. And you also need to think about the conditions. We're here in the Ragged Islands of the Bahamas. It is very calm water. The wind is blowing off the beach, and there is no chop, which is perfect. We don't really mind what the wind is because we're not going to be using the wing to learn. We're just going to be getting used to the foil setup. And so you just need a boat, a rope, and safety, which we'll talk about later, and gear, which we'll move on to next. So for gear, you can try someone else's board if you can. Ask around. If you see someone out on the water, when they come back in, ask them if you can try it. It does not matter if the board is too big for you. All you want to see is if you enjoy it. If you don't enjoy it, then don't proceed with it. So that is one of my bigger tips before we move on. So the gear we have here today, we went on the Gong website and sized it for us. I'm about 85 pounds, so this is a 70-liter board with an 85-centimeter mast and a foil. Ours is a curve, but you don't need anything special. Just go on the website, get a board that isn't too big for you, and just try. And that is mainly what you need for gear. For your board, the wing we'll talk about in the next episode because we're not using the wing here, so we don't really need to talk about it, but that's all that really covers the board. So let's move on to safety. So now we're going to talk about safety. This is a key part because you want to have fun out on the water, but you also don't want to get hurt, so taking safety precautions is very important. So first things first is, this is optional. You can or don't have to put a leash on your board. Some people like their board not drifting away. Your boat just has to be ready to go get it if you fall off and you can't swim to it. If you don't have a leash on, if you do, the foil can come back and hit you, but that is not likely. We have a 6-foot leash on our board, and that is what we use. And then I wear a wetsuit for protection from hitting the foil. I also don't love the feeling of the shock when I fall in. It isn't very cold water, but I just prefer it, so I wear a full wetsuit. also wear a life jacket. We wear the the just regular life jacket. Really simple, any life jacket works. And then a helmet. We just have a helmet, got it on Amazon, and it has ear protection, so if you fall sideways, it does not rupture your eardrum, which isn't necessary, but it is nice to have. So that is what covers safety. Now that we've covered safety, and we've covered with the boat, and we've covered gear, now we're going to talk about more logistics, where you put your feet and all that sort of stuff. So first things first is determine which foot goes forward on your board. Why I say that is because you want your 2 feet to be straddling your foil. So if our foil is right here, our front foil is right here, my back foot is my right leg and my front foot is my left. And I do it in a skateboard stance or a surfing stance. And how we determined which foot I was more comfortable with is I shut my eyes and then I had someone push me. And I fell forward with my left foot catching me. And so that's how we determined which foot I felt most comfortable. We also tried with my right foot forward. I was much more tippy. So this is my goofy foot, as they say, and this is my more comfortable stance. And we want our front leg bent and our back leg bent. And you want it so that, as we were saying, your feet are straddling the foil. You can see where we took off our foot straps. We did not want the foot straps on because we found that it kind of told you where to put your feet, and this board wasn't necessarily made for kids, and so having them off really, really helped not limit you per se, because you could put your foot on the edge of that hump. And so this board has a center line. It just means where your mast is attached. It's the center of the board, and you want your weight relatively over the center, because if you have your weight too far over to one side, then you will fall to that side, and that is not necessarily good. So we'll talk about placement more once we get the foil in the water, but while the foil is out of the water, let's look at where we have our foil. So this is the track. The foil inserts on the track. There are many videos out there on how to put your foil together. That's not what we're covering in this video, but just a simple thing. When you move your foil forward, it makes more lift and more squirreliness. So that means tipping, it wants to go down and up more, but it will make it easier to go up. So you want your foil in the center of your board, because if you move your foil to the back, that makes it harder to get up, but when you're up, more stable. So you want it in the center. We have ours at 3, which is right at beginner. So that is perfect for learning. So let's get this foil into the water so we can show you where we place our feet. So before we go out on the water with the boat, we're going to put our leash on and put the board in the water just at the beach, and we're going to go over some foot placement and that sort of stuff. So we're making sure to put on the leash so that it doesn't drift away. I have all my safety gear on, and then let's head out. So our board has a little handle here, so it makes it a lot easier to carry. I just have to get it up and out, and then into the water we go. Off we go. And we want to walk it deep enough so that our foil does not hit the sand. So that's 85 centimeters. So you got to go a little bit more. So now that we're in deep enough water, we're going to put the foil down and let's go over foot placement. So alrighty. I'm just holding on to the side of the boat and I'm going to go over some foot placement. I do my left foot forward, as I was saying, on the beach. So our screen center line is right here. And then I put my foot a little bit closer to the bolt holes for the foot straps. And I start by holding the tow rope, and I start on my front foot knee, okay? And then I'll move up to my back foot, which is easier when we're moving because there's more tension on the board, so the board is much more stable. So I'm just holding on to the boat. My back foot, as you can see, is just behind the bump. And when I am foiling, I'm gonna have an athletic stance. So if I just drift away from the boat a little bit, so you can see, I'm gonna have an athletic stance. So my front knee is bent and my back leg is also bent, but as you can see, my back foot is directly horizontal on the board. I lost my words there. And then my front foot is diagonal on the board, and that front foot is crossing. You can see it's crossing the center line. And you'll also see when I'm closer to the boat, my back foot is also crossing the center line. So that's keeping my weight evenly distributed over the foil. And the front wing is right here. So my feet are straddling the front wing. As we were saying on the beach, that helps you foil. So now that we've gone over foot placement, you may want to just practice that a little bit. Now we're gonna go out in the water. So our first steps for going out on the water is tow foiling, which is a general subject. So the first step with our tow foiling is we're gonna do mushing, which is going very slow through the water, and our boat's kind of going to be on an angle like this. So it's displacing, which means getting rid of a lot more water. And so that means it is very stable in the water, which is gonna be great for our first step, standing up. I fell hundreds of times. I am already past that learning stage, so I will fall, but probably not nearly as much as you guys will if this is your first time. So just know that it is all part of it. You will fall so much, you will be very annoyed, but just know that it is all worth it because foiling is very fun. So let's get started with mushing through the water, and all we're gonna work on is standing up. And we're just gonna work on standing, getting up on our feet, and getting used to it. You may only go on your first turn like 2 feet. You may just kneel, and then right as you stand up, you'll fall. It's all part of it. You may go 10. It doesn't matter, just have fun and enjoy the process. When the boat has moved forward enough that all your tow rope slack is fully out and you're feeling confident, your one knee is up, give the driver a thumbs up. What does that mean? Well, that means that you are ready for the driver to start accelerating to a speed which is under plane, but not that fast, but enough to give your board speed so that it's stable. When you feel that board stable, you can go ahead and try standing up, making that transition from one knee onto 2 feet. Remember, when doing this, stay in your athletic stance once you're standing, with your knees bent. When you are on your feet in your athletic stance, get comfortable with that. Just have the driver tow you around. Don't do anything, just kind of sit there, be comfortable. Then when you're starting to feel more confident and less tippy, then you can try shifting your weight from side to side. What that will do is make the board turn. As you can see here, I'm moving side to side, shifting my weight, and that's how the board is turning. Once you've done that and you're feeling comfortable, you have successfully finished mushing. That is like a big step. Congrats. Now you're ready to move on to small hops on the foil. Let's do it. Small hops on the foil is our next step after mushing. How you're going to do this is you're going to be in your athletic stance. You're going to lean back with put more pressure on your back foot, and the foil will start to activate. So putting pressure on your back foot is going to make the foil activate. Then, once you feel that that foil is activated and you're starting to rise out of the air, put pressure on your front foot, almost as if you're stomping down on it. Once you've stomped down in your foil and your board is back on the water, repeat that process several times. As you can see me doing here, I'm going up and down, up and down, up and down several times. That is what you need to do to get the feeling of activating the foil. Then we can move on.
We hope you guys enjoyed that. Absolutely awesome that you have 11-year-olds that are doing this and their family traveling on this boat right here. And Julia, do you want to leave everybody with anything special?
I just want to thank my family for supporting me in this lovely journey, and my brother. He's the one who got me into this. He also foils. You probably in later videos to come will see him. He's doing great. He is 9, and yeah, just have fun. It doesn't matter what age you are. Just enjoy the sport. It's really enjoyable.
And that's it. Go like and subscribe Julia Uncharted. Follow her journey as she paves the way for all these young, amazing humans to enjoy this beautiful sport we all love. So we'll see you next time.
Bye. Thanks for watching.